What's going on? Welcome. Let's see. Am I muted? Can you guys hear me? Test. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Apple Home Talk Live. Hope you guys are doing well and having a great week so far. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. Some things look a little different on my back end here, so we'll make sure we are good to go. Happy Wednesday. What's going on, Larry? Jeff from Michigan. What's up, Jeff from Michigan? Hair Riot. How you guys doing? Let's see. Looks and sound great. Thank you, Polkster13. What's going on, Frederick? Hope you're doing well. Having a good day so far. Yeah, it looks like YouTube kind of changed some things a little bit on my back end. It looks a little different. So, and today's been kind of a crazy day. So I'm scrambling, trying to get ready here in time. All good. Thank you, Hair Riot. No sound, Wild Bill says. Are you messing with me? Can you guys hear me? Hello from France. What's up, HomeKit? Awesome American, what's up? From sunny Australia. Good to see everybody here. Skynet, what's going on? We got a few people from France here. Awesome, man. Glad to see everybody. Texas in the house. What's up? Dan Davis. Thump Jimmy here from Maine. I bet it's cold there. Had some glitches during the countdown. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, so I'm glad. It looks like everything is good. Thank you, 419 J Black. All right, appreciate you guys. How's everybody doing, man? It's been kind of a crazy day. I had yet another, well, I guess I should intro this. First of all, if you're new here, welcome. This is the live stream all about building a smart home. Yeah, we're just gonna hang out, talk about a few new products and stuff that were announced or that were released. I'm gonna answer as many questions as I can today. Man, December is just flying by. It's crazy. Time has been flying by. But yeah, been kind of a crazy day last couple of days. So once again, had an Aqara water sensor save the day, if you will. Like I'm losing count at this point how many times these water sensors have saved the day. So I had one trigger a few days ago, started going off maybe like over the weekend or something. And it was from my hot water heater this time, which is in my garage. I put one just like in the little drip pan. There's never any water there normally when everything's working well. Never had any issues. Started notifying me. It was just a really small leak, nothing major at all. But I probably wouldn't have noticed it otherwise until maybe, something really bad happened. But our hot water heater, our hot water tank it's really old. It's like hasn't been replaced since this house was built, and we knew it was just a matter of time. It was kind of on its last leg, so we just decided, you know what, slow leak, let's just go ahead and get it replaced. Now, since it's again just a matter of time, those things aren't intended to last forever, and we were kind of on borrowed time already with that one, so went ahead. We've been having that get replaced today. In fact, they were here. They might still be here, getting that all finished up. But yeah, man, those water sensors, can't recommend them enough. If you don't have any, definitely get yourself some smart water sensors. Could be anyone. Could be any of them. It doesn't really matter. I think just get you some good reliable ones. I got some questions already coming in. So, if you have a question, preface your comment with the word question if you would, and I'm going to save these and we'll answer as many questions as we could. Eric Harrison, what's going on? Just outside of the Gulf Shores. Saw you can order some of the new IKEA Matter thread devices. Yeah, yep, those are available now. That's on the list today. We're going to talk about those, show you those real quick here in just a second. Oh, New Zealand in the house. What's going on, New Zealand? Glad you could stop by. So a couple questions here. We're going to get to these. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and just jump right in. First thing we'll mention is some of the new IKEA devices. We talked about these a little bit in the stream before, so these were announced a little while back, and some of these are now available to order, or I think they're in stores now too, in certain stores. Unfortunately, I don't have an IKEA store anywhere near me, so I cannot, go in person and get any. And like IKEA's just always been kind of a pain for me personally. Like shipping and everything is just not been super easy for me. But anyways, they've got some Matter over Thread devices. They have a whole line of Matter over Thread devices that were announced before, and a few of them are available now. So we've got this air quality sensor, which is pretty cool. It has a nice little display on it, it looks like. We've got a smart button, like a 2-button device right here for controlling your smart home, little remote, I guess you could call it. We've got a door and window sensor. And then we got a motion sensor, all Matter over Thread. So this is pretty interesting to see. You know, I'm always happy to see new Matter devices. I'm happy to see Matter over Thread devices. I feel like, and you guys tell me what you think too, those who kind of are in the know on this. The only problem I see with this is that Thread is still kind of tricky. It's not fully developed, in my opinion, ready for like just broad use. I think, you know, your everyday consumer, maybe not those of you watching this live stream, but like your everyday consumer may not even know what Thread is, and they get something like this and think it'll just work with their smart home, and that's kind of not always the case. It is definitely getting better, but what do you guys think? Are y'all excited about these? IKEA devices are cheaper. Yes, that is a good thing about the IKEA devices for sure. Real quick, Polkster 13 celebrating 41 months of membership. Thank you so much for the continued support here. We'll get back to the Thread and Matter IKEA stuff. Polkster 13 asks, what do you think of Chamberlain's latest move? Man, Chamberlain, you know, I'll be honest with you, has been dead to me for a while. So it's no surprise, but basically I did not look like super deep into the latest news. I did see there were some articles and stuff or whatever, but basically Chamberlain, they cut off their like access to their API and all their smart home integrations and stuff. They cut all that off like a while ago, and they're just like doubling down on it. So like this recent wave was just, you know, them doubling down basically on that and really trying to tie you into their little ecosystem and their subscription service, which I'm never a fan of when they require that stuff, and them just cutting off all the support, you know, through Home Assistant or any other support, HomeKit support. It's just, you know, it's not cool. And like I said, that's kind of been the case for a while in that regard. So Chamberlain's kind of been dead to me, you know, MyQ. It just, you know, it sucks. Yeah. Trent, Lone Star Trent here says, tailwind all the way. Yeah, definitely. There's also, so there's a number of ways that you can make your garage door smart if you don't have like one with built, you know, with the MyQ and all that stuff built in. And it's not really that expensive to do. There actually was, let me pull this one up. So yeah, Tailwind is the one that I'm using and super happy with that. George, what's up, George? Langerbeer in the house. George says Tailwind for the win. Yeah, big fan of Tailwind. They have a new one that was just released. This IQ, is it like the Gen 2 second gen? Yeah, so this is the Tailwind for those who may not know. I've talked about it before. This is the second gen. I have not been able to use the second gen one yet. I'd like to, and I probably will at some point. Another thing that was talked about recently, so I saw this device right here when I was at IFA in Berlin, Germany. And this is Third Reality. They make some pretty cool like retrofit stuff and just some cool stuff in general. I believe this one, this is Matter certified. So this might be Matter over Wi-Fi, but it's kind of like a pre-order. It says back order right now. But this is a really interesting device. And there are some people in the Discord, in my Discord server, that were kind of interested in this and asking about a video. So maybe I'll do a video on this if this is of interest, but something like this is pretty unique. It's kind of like a switch bot kind of thing. It's just a little button. You basically put your existing garage door remote inside. Let's see if we can get a picture here. where it kind of shows you, not great. But basically you put your little like remote inside this, and this just connects to your smart home, and then you can control it that way. And it just has this little robot finger that comes down and pushes the remote for you for your garage door. And there's a little tilt sensor that comes on that comes with it that you put on your door, so it knows if it's open or closed. And $50, like that could be maybe a good option for those who, you know, there's like no wires or anything really involved with that. So pretty easy solution there. Interesting stuff. You know, I would definitely look at something like that, or Tailwind. Again, you know, some people use Maris. I used the Maris one for a while, but that one's not my favorite. I really like the Tailwind for sure. Let's see. Jeff from Michigan says, buy Genie. Chamberlain owns LiftMaster, Merlin, and Craftsman and MyQ. Yep. So, you know, and if you, yeah, so they're just making it, what they're doing is they're making it even harder, I believe, to connect like these smart devices like Tailwind and stuff to your garage door, or to your smart home. So like, you know, that's just really unfortunate. But with something like this third reality thing here, as long as you got a remote, you can connect it. I hope the robot finger is the middle finger to Chamberlain. Hell yeah, I like that. Exactly. That's awesome. Yeah, I am Raul. What's up, Raul? Good for renters. Yeah, this retrofit stuff, like this little thing from Third Reality, stuff like that is great for renters. If you know you can't run wires and install things and stuff like that. Great point. Yeah, I know the smart home community is not happy with Chamberlain and has not been for quite a while now at this point. So that was actually when I first switched over and started using the Tailwind, was right around the time they cut off access to like their API and everything. So see a few questions. Let me go through these comments and try to save these. Yeah, so Chamberlain even stopped the Tailwind in their newer garage door opener firmware. Yeah, so there's some nuances there, and I do really want to get the new Tailwind, and maybe I'll do an updated video on this to see like, and kind of go into all the details there. But yeah, Chamberlain, not cool. They're definitely making it very difficult for like all these companies and these third-party devices, for sure. So we got some love for Tailwind in the comments, I see. But yeah, back to the IKEA stuff. I was kind of like, I was looking through some of these listings on the website, and they say stuff like this. So based on the universal standard matter, which is great, don't get me wrong. But if you look at the product details, I don't think it says anywhere in here anything about thread. Now these are matter over thread devices, and I could be missing it, but they say, you know, you can connect it to any smart home ecosystem or the IKEA hubs. But yeah, I think that I'm afraid of it making things a little bit more confusing for like your average consumer, not knowing the protocols, because that is kind of important, I feel like, at this point. I don't know. What do you guys think? I do like the price. I'm glad to see more matter over thread devices. But some of those things make me a little nervous, because I think, you know, when these people that are just getting into the smart home stuff and maybe they buy something and they don't really understand the nuances there with like thread and the different protocols and stuff, it can maybe potentially ruin their experience and have them just say, you know, to hell with it all. I don't know. What's up, Terry Lee White? How you doing, man? Glad to see you here. Personal preference, Tom says, don't like the look of those long, skinny door and window sensors. Yeah, they are There's a pretty long, skinny door window sensor there. I mean, I'm not sure. It's hard to say, you know, without having one in my hand, like how big it is, but it does look, it looks pretty darn big according to the photo there. I do like the button design here. Motion sensor looks okay. I do like the look of this thing here too. This little air quality sensor. That's kind of cool. So I don't know, good stuff. Always good to see more products just in general and, you know, become available to us. Another thing that was just announced was, let me find my tab here. Homey just released or announced a new Homey Pro. So Homey Pro 2026. So this is basically an update to the, I think it was 2023 model. So it's basically twice the memory, same price, which is nice. So it's pretty much the same device, but they've just upped some of the specs on there. So it's got double the RAM, and it is available today, starting for the same price as the predecessor. So you can potentially run more apps and stuff like that. So other than that, nothing really has changed. It appears for the Homey Pro, but you know, nice to see a little update there since it has been a few years since the last one. How many of you guys are in the chat here are running Homey Pro or Homey? I'm curious too about that. Let's see. John K. Wolf says too high, use Home Assistant. Yep. Let's see. Homey here. Lurk Jerks using Homey. Tom using a Homey Pro. James is a Homey. What's up, Homey? Cool. Yeah, so I like Homey Pro. I mean, if you've seen some of my videos, some of my more recent videos too, like you might see me doing some automations and stuff like in Homey Pro. Carl using Homey also. Homey Pro 2023. Nice. Well, they've got a lot of people using Homey here in the chat. Yeah, and that's the flows. That's why I'm using it too. I mean, I could use Home Assistant. I also run Home Assistant, and you know, I've spoke on this before, but I just really like using Homey. It's just a lot more enjoyable to me, you know, creating automations and flows and stuff like that. So that's what I'm using it for. I do still use Home Assistant, you know, for some things, but Home Assistant, Talkwork says, would like to give it a try. Yeah, it's pretty nice. You know, the one thing I usually caution people with Homey is that just double check before you spend the money to make sure it has all the integrations you'll want, because that's probably the one place where it may fall a little short, is that it might not have every integration that you need, especially if you already have a bunch of stuff set up in your smart home. So that would be my, you know, word of caution there. Whereas Home Assistant, pretty much anything you can get, you know, to work with Home Assistant. But yeah, creating flows and stuff, it's fun, man. I feel like I'm kind of playing around, just having fun when I'm creating flows and building out stuff in Home Assistant in Homey. Home Assistant feels like homework, I always say. Let's see if we got some questions here. Alan asks, are you testing any products that aren't available to the general public? Let me think. I actually don't think right now I am. Let me look around. Sometimes I'll slide stuff off camera. I don't think I am right now, actually. it's not uncommon that I am testing some stuff before it's available, but I don't think right now I am. Ethan says, do you use any Matter devices at all? Yes, I use a bunch of Matter devices. I have a bunch of stuff connected to my smart home through Matter. TR says, maybe a stupid question. No stupid questions here. Not at all. Says, but what's more with Homey Pro than Apple, please? Yeah, so I talked about this a little bit in my, I did an Apple Home 101 like series, little short series. And in the last video, we talk about just more advanced stuff, like ways to take HomeKit or Apple Home further. And we talked about Home Assistant, we talked about Homey and some other things there. And really, Homey, Home Assistant, all that kind of stuff is going to give you a lot more automation capabilities primarily. That's the main thing you're going to get with those, whereas HomeKit and Apple Home is still pretty limited. You can do some more kind of you can do some more things with third-party HomeKit apps, which I also talked about in that video, like Controller for HomeKit, even the Eve app, which is free. But you're still probably going to run into some limitations once you start trying to do some, kind of crazy, more advanced stuff. And that's where something like Homey or Home Assistant is really going to come in handy. Okay, let me save your questions here. I see we got a few of them. Yeah, speaking of Homey and Homey Flows, looks like Aqara is coming out with a Logic Flow with their Aqara Studio. Yeah, and apparently it's largely based on, maybe they will put it nicely, took some inspiration, I suppose, from the Homey and the way they do Homey Flows and that whole automation engine there. But Aqara has, I've never really used, I use a ton of Aqara devices, but I never really used their app as like a primary automation engine, if you will. But they do have some really good capabilities in the Aqara app, and it looks like they're going to be building on that to make it maybe even a contender to use, that their app, and which is also a Matter controller and stuff nowadays too. And if you don't have Homey or Home Assistant or something like that, you might be able to use Aqara stuff here pretty soon to do a lot of this stuff. Ethan says, does Homey Pro 2026 have Zigbee and Z-Wave and Matter over Wi-Fi and Matter over Thread and BLE? Yeah, it should have all that stuff. It's basically the same. Like I said, they've just like doubled up the RAM. It looks like it's really the only difference. So here we go. Just to list it all out for you. Homey Pro. Those radios already excel. Homey Pro 2026 builds on the same foundation and upgrades where it matters most. So more RAM. So for more apps. So it still has all of this stuff here, all these capabilities in the new model, which I would expect. I would not expect them to strip away anything like that. Oh, thank you, Ethan. One of the super best channel. Thank you. Excuse me. All right, let's see some more questions. Wild Bill says, the best IR blaster, I have tried many options. The Aqara IR blaster is the best. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure. Maybe you were answering somebody else's question. I might have missed that. But it sounds like you found the best. I don't really use IR devices a lot in my house. The only one I'm using right now, I'm actually using the SwitchBot Hub 3 as an IR blaster, but I don't really have a lot of IR devices to control in my house. So I haven't really had a huge need for that personally. Oh, nice. Kit says, I ordered the 2 buttons and the water leak sensor from IKEA while watching the live. I will receive them next week. Hey, that's not bad. Nice. Awesome. Well, you have to keep us posted. Let us know what you think of them. Joshua, what's going on? Joshua says, I've been using Home Assistant for 1.5 years now. After using Lady A, I would never go back. Have a bunch of Zigbee devices and run Home Assistant on Raspberry Pi. One thing I highly recommend is document your changes. Yeah, that's it. No matter what you're doing, once you're getting to the point where you're using Home Assistant or Homey or any, especially multiple ecosystems and stuff, highly recommend documenting your stuff, 100%. Larry says, any update on more Aqara FP300s being released? I think you said mid-December. Will you be getting a discount code again? Yes, I should be getting a discount code again. So I did ask my contact at Aqara, and I was told mid to late December is the range that I was given where they should be available again, back in stock. So for those that don't know, the Aqara FP300 is this guy right here. It's a really awesome sensor. It was very popular and it sold out pretty quickly. I think it even surprised Aqara at how popular this thing was, is kind of what it sounded like. But Sports Matter and Thread or Zigbee, all the things, really great sensor. But like I said, it sold out. I was told mid to late December they should be back in stock, and I should be able to get another discount code. So what I've been telling people is follow me on Instagram, and also during these live streams, I'll definitely make an announcement. But with the holidays coming up, we might be taking a break from some of these live streams. So definitely follow me on Instagram if you're not already. And once I do get a new discount code, I'll definitely post over there, like in my stories, and maybe I'll make like a new post or a reel or something on Instagram. So I'll definitely share it that way as well. So I'll try to get that out to all you guys however possible once we get that new discount code, because I know there's been a lot of people asking about that sensor and when it's going to be available again. Oh, nice. Big Luger says, Ubiquiti has a new holiday sale that has some good products to beef up your home network. Can make a big difference in your home. Yeah, definitely. Networking is important. That's the backbone. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize that. I'll have to check that out. And I saw there is like a number of different brands that are doing like holiday sales. I think Aqara has one. Either it may be going on right now. If not, it will be starting soon. And just some other brands too. A lot of the smart home brands that we like and talk about. So it's good to see Ubiquiti, which I know they had some Black Friday sales too recently. So that's nice to hear. Don, my man, 42 months of membership. Thank you, Don, so much for the continued support. Really appreciate that. Don says, sorry I'm late to the party. Today was out walking with the wife. Look like you use, like you, I use no IR blasters. I never had consistently good luck with them. Oh, okay. I think there was a typo there. But yeah, I just don't really have any IR devices that I really need to control until I did my garage and I put the mini split AC in my garage. I wanted to control that, and I've been using, like I said, the SwitchBot Hub 3, and I really just use it for manual control. I don't really have it automated or anything, but so far it seems to be working pretty well. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of IR devices. I'm always kind of surprised to see like how many IR devices some people have, because I've just never really used a bunch of them. What's going on, Wayne Nichols? Wayne Nichols, investor. Love your content. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Says I grabbed up the new Sofa Baton X2 remote, and it will work with Home Assistant. Nice. I've heard some good things about Sofa Baton. I have not used one personally. but pretty interesting. You know, you can use those, I guess, for IR control also, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I have not used one of those myself. All right, let me get to some of my saved questions real quick. Skynet says, does Aqara have a phone support team, or would I be wasting my time, and should I make a ticket or form post? I don't know 100% if they have a phone support number. I would make a ticket if you could. I've heard good things about their support, but yeah, I would make a ticket if you have, if you're having an issue or with something. That would be my first route. Sid Harth Jane. Sorry, man. I butcher these usernames. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Ask, are you still using Home Assistant as the back end and Apple Home as the front end? Yeah, pretty much. So I am using a combination of things, and I thought about maybe making a video just kind of like explaining my setup a little bit, kind of like an update to this, because I get asked this kind of fairly often. So I don't know, I might do that if that sounds like something you guys would be interested in. But yeah, I'm using a combination of things like I was just talking about. I do still use Home Assistant. I also use Homey. Kind of all that is pretty much on the back end. And Apple Home is my main front end that I'm using for everything. That's what the family uses. We use that for voice control, and there's a lot of like Apple Home specific benefits too, like HomeKey. Even though I don't really use HomeKey that much anymore, you got obviously like the voice control, which I mentioned with all the HomePods and stuff, but the Apple TV and like the doorbell pop-ups and stuff like that, which is all Apple Home specific. But yeah, I'm basically moved most of my automations, especially my advanced stuff, over to Homey Pro, and I like just kind of building out stuff over there. If you watched my bedroom automation video that was like maybe a week or two ago, you'll see a lot of that stuff was kind of built using Homey, but you could do the same thing in Home Assistant. And I'm mostly using a Home Assistant just for like device support for certain things that maybe I can't get into my smart home any other way. I'll use Home Assistant for that. I actually just set up a new device in a Home Assistant like very recently, a few days ago. Just catching up on the comments here. Try to save all your questions. Yeah, speaking of Apple Home being pretty depressing. Another thing that I was going to mention today, which I feel kind of like a broken record on these live streams talking about like the Apple rumors. They're coming, they're not coming. It's coming, it's not coming. This is why I'm not really a huge fan of rumors and rumor videos and stuff, because this is what happens. Like, we've been hearing these rumors first about like the new, Apple Home Hub with the screen for years now. That's been delayed a bunch. Then this year we were hearing rumors for the new Apple TV and a new HomePod Mini. They said it's coming, it's not coming. Oh, it's coming, it'll be here before the end of this year. But then they keep pushing it back, and all these rumors. It's just a mess when you're listening to these rumors, I think. And it gets people's hopes up. So here we are, like almost mid-December, still no new Apple TV, still no HomePod. Just a month or two ago, I bet you most people would have put money on there being a new HomePod or new Apple TV by now, based on all these rumors we were hearing. But here we are, still no Apple TV, still no new HomePod Mini. And I would say, I guess it's still possible that it'll happen in December. I'd say it's probably more unlikely than it is likely that that'll happen. at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they're just going to be waiting until, you know, the improved voice assistant. I'm trying not to set off your speakers and stuff. Sally, we'll say Sally, and you know, they're just they're having some issues in that department right now. So looks like we're going to be waiting a little bit longer for all that. Yeah, exactly. That's probably what the delay is, and you know, I'm not really mad at that. Like, honestly, I mean, I'm not thrilled about the delays in Sally, but let's just say a new HomePod, for example, like, I wouldn't want to release that if I was Apple either until they got, you know, the voice assistant nailed down and working to its fullest potential. Because you think about all these people who maybe have never gotten a HomePod, you know, you want them to have the best experience. So I'm not mad that they're delaying it for this. I wish they weren't delaying this as much as they've had to. But man, I just pray that when it comes, it's freaking good. We'll see. Yeah, hope it's worth the wait. I agree, man. Oh boy, I sure do. I feel like they can't afford to get this wrong at this point. I don't know. What do you guys think? Get it right, then ship it? Yeah. Yeah, you know, and there's been a lot of products and software and stuff that's not been done this way. They ship it and then they get it right. So, you know, we'll see what happens here. Yeah, I think Turin, you're probably right there. Apple wants it local, and that's most likely the issue they're having. I'm sure that has been a big holdup and a big roadblock for them, making everything, you know, the privacy stance that Apple has, especially with this Apple Intelligence and everything. I'm sure that has been a difficult hurdle to overcome. And again, hopefully they get it right, and it will be worth the wait. We'll see. Yeah, I think so. There was some rumor. Well, I don't know if they're rumors, but Joshua asked, so wasn't there a recent firing of AI executives? I don't think they were fired. I don't know. I've read a bunch of articles. So you see stuff like this where Apple is experiencing its most significant executive exodus in decades, including heads of AI, design, legal, and policy departing in recent weeks. So this is all recent here. So I don't know that they're being fired or that they're just leaving. There was some talk of, what's his name? Gosh, I forget his name. Johnny Sruji. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at names. But he was one of the ones that was reportedly leaving, but then it was said that he has recommitted himself, so he is not retiring. As you can see here, he confirms that he's not going anywhere. So, you know, I don't know. There's definitely some stuff going on, but we'll see what happens with all this. Edgar's Home Tech. What's up, Edgar? Says I'll wait. Yeah, I don't know. I hope they figure it out. Yeah, I don't think Apple has given up on smart home. I really don't. All the rumors indicate that it is becoming more of a focus, you know, than maybe years past. It's just they've just been battling these delays, which I think is pretty much all because of the, you know, the Siri delays. Oh, nice. Stephen Robles did an excellent video a couple of days ago explaining why the executive turnover at Apple is actually a good thing. Okay, good deal. Have to check that one out. Yeah, I would think that, well, I don't know. I guess some of the maybe Apple intelligence features might not work on older HomePods. But I would expect most of your stuff to still work and be able to be updated, but you might lose out on some of the AI features. Um, that could definitely be a possibility. All right, let me answer some more of these questions here that we got that I saved. Lurk Jerk says, have you read the article about the IKEA Zigbee thread together, not one or the other? I did not read that. So did I get that wrong? Let me know. I may have got that wrong. Maybe the IKEA stuff does support Zigbee and thread. That would be pretty nice, actually. I couldn't find on the product pages for IKEA these new IKEA products whether it just says Matter. It doesn't say the protocol. So I could be wrong about that because there are some, there's definitely some companies that are doing that now, supporting both Thread and Zigbee. This is from November 2025. Talks about all the different new. Still don't see anything about the protocol. Let's just do a find. Let's see if. Yeah, I don't even mention the protocols in here. So I don't know, I could be wrong about that. We'll have to get HomeKit to let us know when he gets his new IKEA devices if they support Zigbee as well. Bill, yes, sorry, that may have got answered for you already, but yeah, we did discuss Homey Pro 2026 already. Nice little update from Homey. William, what's up, William? Martinez says, question, I have been holding off for a while, but I think it's time I made the plunge. I'm thinking about getting a NAS for my smart home. Do you have any recommendations? Yeah, to be honest with you, man, I am not like super up to date with all the latest as far as NAS systems go. I know there's a bunch of good ones out there now. More and more companies are making them. I've always used Synology, and I've been pretty happy with my Synology. I mean, I could just speak from personal experience there. I think Ugreen has some good stuff that I've heard some pretty good things about now. If anybody has any recommendations in the comments or an experience, let us know there. I would say if you're looking for something that can also do things like maybe run Home Assistant or scripted or different things like that, then just get something that you can like set up Docker containers on. But if you're using it, just for backup and stuff like that, I'm not sure it probably doesn't matter as much. But yeah, I've used Synology for a few years, and I've just set up, a few Docker containers where I ran, some different things. I did Homebridge for a while, which I'm not really using Homebridge anymore. And also Scripted. That's how I run Scripted, was on my Synology. QNAP, that's another one too. I've heard a lot about. Never used it myself. Thank you. Lone Star Trent, Ugreen, from what I heard, does not do Docker containers. Interesting. Okay. I thought maybe you could with the newer Docker ones, but I could be mistaken. So yeah, just something to definitely look into if that, is important to you. See what else we got here. Luis or Luisi, I'm so bad at these names. Thank you for the question. It says, do you have your LaFair presence sensor connected to Home Assistant? Dude, it's been a minute. I've got so many things running in my smart home. Sometimes I forget like exactly how I set it up. So that is why the documentation is handy. I have a spreadsheet. I shared this in 1 or 2 of my videos where I will put in my spreadsheet when I set up something new, where I connect it first and then how I'm using it. You know, because I'll set it up in either Home Assistant, sometimes Homey Pro, and then I always get into Apple Home one way or another. Well, I usually do. I guess there's some devices where I don't do that. But the LaFair presence sensor, I'm trying to remember exactly where I ended up. And I can't remember. I either set it up in Homey or Home Assistant, or maybe both. I might have done both. Vito 80 says, lately some of my automations have a long delay before being triggered. I have some devices going non-responsive in HomeKit, but work in the native app. Any idea what could be the issue? So it sounds like probably a HomeKit issue there. If the device is working well in the native app, but it's not working well or non-responsive in HomeKit, it's probably a HomeKit issue. There's just so many factors that could contribute to something like this, but you have kind of like, nailed down a little bit of the issue there. So it looks like it is a HomeKit issue, but that could also be an issue with your thread network or whatever. But I would say, if I'm experiencing this, the first thing I would do is probably restart my HomeKit hubs. A lot of times, actually more often than not, that will fix everything. So if you're having issues, especially with like automations and non-response issues in HomeKit, but everything seems to be fine in the manufacturer's app, sounded like it's something to do with HomeKit, and restarting your HomeKit hubs, sounds kind of simple, kind of dumb, but a lot of times that will kind of fix issues like that. All right, let me catch up here in the comments. Oh, nice. All right, so we got some good recommendations here. NAS Compares YouTube channel for more information on NAS systems. That's good to know. Oh, thanks, PalmaKit, checking up on that. So it looks like in the documentation for those IKEA devices, they talk about Thread, but don't mention Zigbee. Yeah, I don't remember reading that the new ones supported both Thread and Zigbee, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I know that Matter over Thread is what I saw everywhere about those new devices. All right, questions here. RH504 says, sorry if you answered this, just joined. Saw your video where you tried Home Assistant. Did you go back to HomeKit? I recently switched and could never go back. No, I'm using, I've just kind of was talking about this, so I'm using kind of everything. I still use HomeKit as my primary interface for my smart home and for a few features that are Apple Home specific only. But yeah, I do at this point, at this point, it's become a hobby and not just, I do enjoy kind of tinkering and messing around with stuff. And so for people like that, Home Assistant and these other things are good. If you just don't want to mess with it at all, just stay in HomeKit. Just want simple for sure. But yeah, I'm using Home Assistant on the back end as well as Homey and running scripted also for my camera. So I got a few things I'm kind of running on the back end. but still do use HomeKit, Apple Home as our primary interface here in the house. Also helps a lot if you have like multiple people in your house that you live with that also have to use your smart home. HomeKit's been really good for that. Oh, nice. Yeah, these days with AI, man, you can get a bunch of stuff done. I haven't even thought really about doing this. So Simple PC UK says, I recently jumped over to Homey and used Gemini to assist in creating flows, and it's been brilliant. That's awesome. Yeah. And Homey is like just so user friendly when it comes to creating flows and stuff anyways. Like I actually enjoy it. So I don't mind like tinkering around, creating the automations and trying different things in there. It's kind of fun. Just the whole user interface is really good. Home Assistant for me personally is not as fun to tinker around, but I do know a lot of people that do the same thing with Home Assistant. Really with whatever you're using, you can probably use ChatGPT or Gemini or something like that to help you in creating some advanced automations and answer questions and stuff, and even write code, which is pretty cool. John K. Wolf, how's your grandpa doing? Oh man, thank you for asking, John. Pappy is doing well. He's hanging in there. Old age is what does he usually say? Getting old ain't for wimps. I think he says usually. But yeah, he's hanging in there. He's about to turn 89 actually this year, this December. So very soon. Actually, I think tomorrow. So yeah, happy early birthday to Pappy. I know when he reaches 90, he said he used to smoke like cigars and stuff, and he quit for a long time. He said if he makes it to 90, he wants to smoke a cigar with everybody, all the guys. So that's the goal, is to hopefully this time next year be getting ready to smoke a big old cigar with Pappy. That'll be fun. But he's doing well. Thank you for asking. Oh man, Terry, dude, thank you so much. Terry just gifted 10 memberships, man. Oh, thank you. Where's my applause? I don't know if this is working. My sound effects. Thank you so much, Terry. I appreciate that. And everybody, Terry just gifted 10 memberships. Terry, a longtime channel member. I appreciate the support there. So T.Y. Boyle, Robbie, Smart, Ray, Jub, Brian, a bunch of you guys just were gifted a channel membership. As a channel member, you get access to our member Discord server, where we have channels over there for everything, all the different smart home stuff, automations, even Home Assistant. So you can hop over there, ask questions, give feedback. The Discord server has been a great place to, as we're all kind of building our smart home. So definitely check that out if you are a new member or an existing member. Check that out. Also, sometimes I do some like behind the scenes, some giveaways and different things like that. So, be on the lookout for that stuff too as a channel member. Oh, no sound on my, thanks Lone Star Trent. No sound on my sound effects. I'll have to figure that out, get that fixed. Yes, to join the Discord server, if you don't already have a Discord account, just create one at the Discord website or in the Discord app. It's free to do. And then you just connect your YouTube account to your Discord account. In the connection, it's called connections in your Discord settings, and then you'll get access to the Discord server. So, and there should be instructions for that too, under the channel membership portion on YouTube, in case you need a little help in connecting your Discord server, or connecting to the Discord server. All right, let's try to answer a few more questions here. Of the official Baba Trolling. Thank you, man, for joining and for asking a question here. He asked, what devices are you looking forward to seeing at CES, and are you going to do a live stream that week? Okay, two-part question here. Devices I am excited to see. I think this year, the first thing that comes to mind is going to be Matter supported cameras. I'm pretty certain that's something we're gonna see from some companies. So I'm really interested in seeing that and seeing like who all is committing to Matter for their cameras, what all we're going to be able to do with them. Like, are they like how they're still going to try to tie us into their subscription services for all these camera systems? So I'm excited to see that, and maybe we'll see maybe some smaller, lesser known companies that are producing cameras that will support Matter fully. I think that'll be exciting. More competition, better prices, things like that. So I think that's probably the first thing, just as far as existing smart home devices go. I'm also looking forward to seeing robot vacuums, or not vacuums. I'm kind of tired of robot vacuums, honestly. Robot lawnmowers is pretty exciting. Those have really gotten good. They're starting to really mature, I think. So I'll be probably looking at those and seeing, kind of where we're at there. I think they're kind of at the point where robot vacuums were a few years ago. Robot vacuums have just gotten insane. They're everywhere, especially at CES. And I think robot mowers are kind of getting there. They're just a few years behind. So I'll probably be pretty excited about that. And yeah, I don't know. CES is always just fun because you can go and look around for just like new, different stuff. So I'll just be looking for anything that catches my eye that, maybe is a little unique or different. So that's always exciting. But yeah, Matter cameras that's the thing I'm going to be asking everybody. Like if you make a camera, I'm going to be asking you about Matter when I go out there. Ultra wideband locks, yeah, that's another one. Until Apple Home supports ultra wideband locks and we have that capability, I think ultra wideband locks will be probably the next iteration of smart locks that'll get me excited about smart locks again. So yeah, we'll see. That's been one of those things where we haven't really seen much momentum there in a while. And then, am I doing a live stream that week? So I'm not going to do a normal live stream like this. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to do some sort of, maybe like a vertical live stream or something else that week. I'm not 100% sure. The problem with CES and live streaming goes is that like a lot of times the connections are really bad at these big conferences. So I'm a little nervous on trying to do like a live stream. So I have not committed to that yet. It's something I've thought about, but at this point, won't be a live stream that week while I'm at CES. What I will be doing for sure is just posting a lot of the behind the scenes stuff over on my Instagram account. So if you haven't followed me over there, do that, because I'll be posting like daily. I'll also be posting some shorts and things like that. And maybe some videos on YouTube as well that week, but definitely not as much as like all the behind the scenes stuff. I'll share all that in my stories every day. And I'm excited. Me and Caroline have already been talking about it and planning out some things. So we're definitely going to be doing a bunch of awesome, fun tech stuff, but we're going to hopefully do some other fun stuff this year while we're in Vegas as well. And meeting up with some other creators and some of the folks here in the chat. I'm excited to meet up with and hang out with. So it's going to be a good time. And I'll definitely share all that on Instagram. But yeah, with that and the holidays coming up, I noticed Christmas Eve and I think New Year's Eve both fall on Wednesday this year. So we might not do live streams those weeks either. But stay tuned. I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. We got at least another one next week. Next week we'll be here for sure. I see John Wolf asked about the week of Christmas. So yeah, I'm probably going to skip that week just to, spend time with the family and take a little time off, from the live streams and stuff just for the holidays and for traveling and everything. And then we'll be really excited to get back. It's always so much fun coming back after CES having a little break, being refreshed, and then just kind of, inspired and excited about all the stuff that I'll probably be seeing at CES. So that's kind of the plan right now. All right, let me answer a couple more questions here. We'll go over a little bit today. I got the time. Raul asks, will my wife approve Narwhal Flow as a Christmas gift? I think so. I don't know, man. Like, you always hear, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking carefully about this one. I don't want you to get in trouble. You always hear about like men that give like a vacuum or something as a gift and that not going over so well. So I don't know how that might go for you. So just be careful. But this is a gift that she can therefore not have to do any cleaning. So maybe it would be okay. Safer than like a regular vacuum. I don't know. I can say though that my wife really likes the Narwhal Flow. We use that one here in the house. I've used a few different robot vacuums here lately this year, but the Narwhal Flow has definitely been one of our favorites here in the Whatley house this year. It's a really good robot vacuum. As far as a Christmas gift goes, I don't know. If she wants one, then yes, probably. And Joshua asks, what's on my Christmas list? What's on my wish list? I don't really know what's on my wish list. I wish I had a better answer for this question. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to it's tough to get to put things on my wish list. I don't know. Like Caroline usually gets me like clothes and shoes and stuff like that I don't normally buy for myself. So I guess that's what it would be. Yeah, gonna have a hot shower tonight. Yeah, we got our hot water tank. So hopefully everything is working well. Yeah, on my Christmas list, I don't know, man. I just want everybody to have, a healthy, happy, fun time at Christmas. Be around the family. Honestly, man, I know that sounds like kind of cheesy, but like that's what I'm looking forward to is just spending time with the family and, taking a little bit of downtime and, just relax. We all work so much. We're all so busy all the time, both the kids and adults. So that's what I'm most looking forward to. Maybe that means I'm getting old, where that's my answer, but I am really looking forward to just, taking a little bit of downtime and enjoying family and friends during the holidays. It's always a good time. So that's what's on my Christmas list, as cliche as it may be. Yeah, and staying healthy. Oh, thank you, Pokester13. Frederick says, if you have not checked out the Wife Approved podcast, be sure to do that after the live stream. Thank you, man. Yeah, if you missed it or were not aware, I did start a podcast with my wife. Speaking of the devil there, I should not say that. Speaking of my lovely wife, Caroline, we started a podcast where we're just going into everything, man. Everything from marriage to kids. A lot of behind the scenes stuff where we're talking about our smart home. We're getting her perspective on a lot of stuff. She's usually upset about some automation that I've created over there on the podcast. But I think this week's podcast, which came out yesterday, we have a new episode every Tuesday. And I think this one, I started off talking about the robot lawnmower chewing through a few of my Govee outdoor lights recently, which that kind of sucked. But yeah, you get kind of behind the scenes stuff like that that I don't normally get a chance to talk about. But with that said, guys, I appreciate everybody hanging out and tuning in. We will be back next week for another live stream. I will say, if you asked a question and I was not able to get to it You can, if you're a channel member, you can send me a DM on our Discord server, or you could tag me, or you could just ask the group over there on Discord. You'll probably get some great feedback from the rest of the community over there. You can also hit me up on Instagram. I do my best to reply as much as I can, but it does sometimes get hard. But we will be back next week right here for another live stream. Again, check out the podcast. We got another video also coming soon on the channel here probably this week, and some more good stuff in the works. I appreciate you guys hanging out, talking smart home stuff with me. It's always fun. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and God bless.